Breaking news. Habs Nation. Last night in Buffalo, the Canadiens fell again, but the real story might not have been the scoreboard. RDS insider François Gagnon dropped a bombshell inside the building. League sources are telling him that the Habs brass is open to moving Patrick Lane. That won't shock most fans, especially after Lane's wife posted that now infamous Instagram reel over the weekend about traveling for away games in a contract year and mentally preparing for the trade deadline. The subtext was clear, and now it's turned into the storyline everyone's talking about. Make no mistake, Lane is ready to play. He's been taking regular reps in practice in a regular jersey, which tells you he's healthy and available. But head coach Martin St. Louis hasn't slotted him back into the lineup, and it's not because of effort or attitude. It's purely math. The Canadiens are maxed out at 23 players on the active roster. To insert Lane, someone has to go, traded or waived. It's not as simple as scratching a veteran anymore. Meanwhile, bringing Alexandre back into the lineup is almost automatic because he already occupies a roster spot. And when you look at how this team has played without Lane these last 46 games, it's a hard argument to make that the offense suddenly becomes better with him back. In the 5 games he did play early in the season, Lane was buried in the bottom 6 on the second power play unit and managed just 1 assist. His bread-and-butter one-timer wasn't even an option because his timing was off. That's just not the kind of impact you need if you're trying to spark a lineup that's already found chemistry. The top 2 lines are locked in right now. Caulfield and Suzuki are must-plays, and the Texier-Doc combo has been clicking. On the second line, Slavkovsky, Kapanen, and Demidov are carving out roles. There's just no natural opening for Lane in a scoring capacity. And asking him to transform into a bottom 6 forechecker or energy guy just isn't fair to his game. Players like Veleno, Blais, when healthy, and Bolduc have been doing that work with more consistency, and that's the reality Kent Hughes and St. Louis are facing. Sending Lane down to Laval by waiving him isn't an ideal solution either. It's not about fear of losing him on waivers. It's about fit. Lane in the AHL would be an awkward mix of superstar talent and an environment not suited to developing younger players. And unlike what Alexandre did with St. Louis in St. Louis, it's extremely unlikely Lane would agree to a contract termination to chase another opportunity. Not with a $9.1 million salary this year and a cap hit of $8.7 million. You can't help but feel for the man. He's battled injuries and disappointment over the last few years, and there were moments last season where it seemed like he might find joy again in a Carey-Priceless Canadiens universe. But with the internal growth we've seen and the moves Hughes has made to navigate injuries and maintain pace in a brutal Atlantic division, the ice has slowly evaporated under Lane's feet. Now, to get him moved before the deadline, the Canadiens will almost certainly have to retain salary, and they can with 3 retention spots still open. But that kind of cap tinkering could limit what Hughes can do when the real deadline chess begins. There's been talk the Habs have moderate interest in adding a veteran center like Nazem Kadri from Calgary. But as we've seen with Hughes, the GM likes to keep options open and surprises close to the vest. For Lane and this team, the next few weeks could reshape everything. Fans will be watching every rumor, every lineup tweak, and every move Kent Hughes makes as Montreal tries to balance loyalty, performance, and a long-term vision. Go Habs!